welcome to another episode of Humanly Plausible.
Season 4, episode 1. I just can't believe it's been this long.
That's amazing.
And so a lot of new things are happening now with the podcast. Well, we're season 4. We're going to be shooting primarily out of Jacksonville with our new co-host, Patricia Orange, which is also the co-owner of The Nest, which is a new home now to the Pink Studio Central here in Jacksonville. So maybe you could just give them a little bit on you and The Nest.
Yes.
The short version.
I'm super excited. Just the way that Roly and I met each other. So long story short, he said, I'm looking at different co-working spaces. He chose us, which is amazing. I had a couple conversations with him leading up to him making his decision to join The Nest. And then we had the opportunity to meet each other in person here at the space, provide a tour. And with that, it was like, wow, we have like an instant connection. And so he then shared, I have a podcast called Humanly Plausible in addition to Pink Studios. And I'm like, that sounds intriguing. And then it went into, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? And I'm just saying, but I just have to share the story because I was on the podcast as a guest. Yes. It never came out though, because there were some things with the visual for that. No one's fault. But I was like, I wonder what happened, So fast forward, October passes, November, and I'm telling people, I'm going to be on this podcast. It's coming out. And I actually did 2 podcasts that month, one for the real estate side and one for Humanly Plausible. Yeah. And the other one came out and I was like, I just wonder maybe they didn't like me, right? So fast forward, January 2026 comes and I get a call from Roly like, hey, just so you know, there were some issues with that video. That's why. And he's like, you never called me, by the way. And I was like, yeah, you are right. But I was thinking of you and I meant to call you, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, but I have something better. Would you like to be the co-host because of our synergy? And I'm like, absolutely. I've had opportunities in the past to do some type of podcast related, and it just never felt like the right time. And for the first time in a long time, it just felt very natural. In terms of just the cause, what Humanly Plausible is all about. It aligns with who I am as a person. And then fast forwarding and just knowing some amazing people like our guests here that we're going to introduce shortly. Yes. But just to know a little bit about me, I love people. I love helping others. With the co-working space, I'm a co-owner with my business partner, Christy Radney. We have 2 locations, one in Orange Park and here in the Brooklyn Riverside area. We've been doing this going on 10 years, which is crazy. To see what time and vision and what's possible come into light. I'm also a broker associate with Coldwell Banker Vanguard Realty, so have a duality. I do a lot of things real estate. It's kind of cool how the co-working side does translate into real estate. And then what I do with the buying, selling, managing, and investing in real estate, that helps. But all in all, it's helping others. And that's what it's all about. So if it's business related or someone looking for real estate needs, I love doing that. And then now Humanly Plausible is a part of it. And that's another way to just help and share and have some good dialogue.
So yeah, it's actually funny because I think in that story, you actually show the importance of communication, me not calling you, you not calling me. And what happens in between all that is all these feelings and emotions that we conjure, right? Mm-hmm. So anyways.
The story we tell ourselves.
Exactly. So again, like what's plausible if we actually talk and communicate in a way that makes sense. So I've had the pleasure to meet Katie as well through Patricia, which is another person that I kind of like I feel the universe.
Me too.
Yeah, like the universe is just bringing people together. And I think just like Richard, when I met you, kind of had that instant kind of connection. That's why I kind of moved from our first date right into like, hey, let's get married.
Let's do it. We're committed. Humanly Plausible.
And so
season 4.
So Katie, you want to, Patricia, you want to,
Yes, I
introduce
have
Katie?
The honor of introducing my dear friend, Katie Kight, who is a force, who is sage, who is honor and service for others. And honestly, just knowing you, I think it's been a year now.
Yeah, just about.
So how did you guys connect?
So we connected through the Cal for Business Club.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually
Got it.
host.
That's right, you had mentioned
yeah,
that.
a business club at the Nest every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so just having the opportunity to meet really cool people such as yourself. And Katie and I think, have grown in infinity with each other. And I'm just curious what the future holds, but this is one part of the puzzle. So, Katie, please introduce yourself because I wouldn't do you justice.
Well, that was
pretty good, though.
Gracious and beautiful, and I am touched by your words.
Sage.
Truly. So, yeah, we met through networking, right?
Yes.
So I've been around Jacksonville forever, and I've been in marketing, communication, and brand strategy leadership for years, mostly like in the not-for-profit and mission-driven space. And a few years ago, I was like, I'm looking for something a little bit deeper, right? Something that goes beyond messaging and really starts to talk about leadership, beyond just giving back in an organization and culture. And that curiosity and that kind of desire led me to become a certified coach through the International Coaching Federation and start my business Grounded Pathways, where I work with emerging and evolving leaders on their professional development, their leadership, their culture and organizations. And at the same time, this lets me consult still in communication and brand strategy. And I couldn't think of a better way to kind of meld these two passions of mine in service to the community of Jacksonville and businesses and individuals I meet. And I love meeting people. And so Calford has been my go-to networking space. Meeting Patricia has opened up amazing doors, including meeting Roly and other people. And so I can't say enough about partnership and connection and networking, and that really speaks to my soul.
Wow. That's awesome. So really quick before we get into our box question, actually from both of you, like, can you guys talk about the Jacksonville market as a business? You know, you guys have way more experience than I do, obviously, in this area. So, like, how would you guys describe it now, in your own words?
Night and day. So I will say being in business for the last, like truly, I would say last 15 years, just seeing the change for Jacksonville and Northeast Florida, because I also am in Orange Park as well. Being able to see the community, the infrastructure in place, the fact that I remember when we first moved into this building, all that we see around us, we have the FIS building in front of us and, you know, right next door, the hub that just opened up. Like, there was nothing happening here at that time. There was a lot of emerging. There was a lot of, oh, it's coming. But to now see it actually happen and it's open for business, like, I'm really excited for the future. I feel like I spoke to someone like 3 years ago. I was doing a real estate transaction, and they were from South Florida. And they mentioned, they're like, this feels like the 80s of South Florida. There was this emerging change happening in South Florida. And then as you could see how South Florida is now, I feel the same way with Jacksonville. Like, we have a lot of talented people coming from all over, from South Florida, all the way from the north, from the West Coast, that are like, hey, I like Jacksonville as a city, what it's offering, the cost of living. And so we have a Four Seasons coming. So there's a level of luxury also coming into the area. So for me, I think we're on the precipice of just like an explosion of unrecognizable growth related to business. And I'm super excited about what's to come, to being able to be already ready for that, as opposed to like getting ready. It's nice to already be immersed in what's happening in the area and being able to look at additional possibilities for the future. But all in all, when I look at Jacksonville, we were in the top 5 cities to move in nationwide for this year, for 2026. So, you know, I have to put my little real estate element to it, because that all comes together. Like, people are looking at Jacksonville. The Jags are doing really, really well, which is always so helpful to like being a football city, and just the energy surrounded about that. I feel like there's energy, this unsaid, unspoken energy here in Jacksonville that is going to be a force to reckon with. So go Jags.
Love it.
Go Jacksonville.
Yeah, Patricia, you are so right about all of this. And just somebody who's lived here for my whole life, it's really evolved in an amazing way. And what I love to say about Jacksonville, it is this growing, evolving, big little town. Yes. And I say that because I think the opportunities for networking and that connection and closeness are really amazing. And this morning, Patricia and I shared a story earlier about something that she was doing and working with real estate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this guy. And she's like, yeah, he's my mentor. Isn't this amazing?
Exactly.
And so I feel like that every day, right? It's like that old 6 degrees of separation. But I think here in Jacksonville, it's even more true. And one of the things I think is incredible here is its genuine connection, right? So it really is, at least in my sphere, and I think like in getting to know Patricia, it's really people that want to connect and immerse themselves with people and evolve that in a way that does a really good job of forming community.
Yeah.
But expands to let others in.
Yes.
And I think that's a really unique thing here in this market.
I love that. Inclusivity.
Yeah.
Right? Super important. Inclusivity.
Yeah, because one of the things I've been wanting to be inspired, or been looking, to be inspired to, because I want to shoot a documentary.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Go, Roly, go.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like you. I just don't stop.
Yes.
Just keep stacking up the to-dos.
I do this and I do that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I do that too.
But I'm really leaning into the idea of community, like how important that is as people, as who we are, and So I've been kind of doing a lot of research on that end, as far as just different perspective on how obviously from a religious standpoint, and just from a non-religious standpoint, and how people view that and how important it is. Because just to what you were saying, it's the way we thrive. I think we're designed to thrive that way.
I agree
with each other.
Yes.
So.
And we realize that even more with COVID.
Absolutely.
What that feels like to be disconnected, and then what it feels to be connected.
I truly like going on that. I really do believe that we live in this very global society, right? That we can connect with people all over the world, but that also creates some disconnection if we are not purposely creating face-to-face community. And I think that Jacksonville is poised to provide that, but you need to lean into it. You need to create it. And I think there are people willing and able and wanting to create that.
You got to be intentional.
Yes, very intentional.
And the other thing too, so we started exploring like downtown Jacksonville, because I've always been on the pass through, I'm here for a conference, a meeting, and then I'm gone. But we've never really just explored like downtown Jacksonville or just hung out. And yeah, it's like super cool. Like I'm just like, what
downtown Jacksonville is not what it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago.
Really?
And honestly, probably in the last 3 to 6 months alone, there has been so many, like if you just look, all the cranes in the sky, all of the changes are happening with the MOSH, like Museum of Science and History, relocating, and then the Jack Stadium. We're currently going to be undergoing that change in the next couple of, within the next 2 years. Yeah. And so just to be able to see like, wow, it's not only being discussed, it's actually happening.
Yeah, Emerald Trail, Metro Park, all the restaurants. It's amazing.
Yes. Love Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we're still exploring. But yes, Gavin's already pointing at the box. He's yelling at us.
We are having a good time, Gavin.
I know, sorry, Gavin. Yes, I digress.
It's box time.
Yeah, so we're trying to stay structured, but yes, we're going to go into the box. So yeah.
Oh, the box. Okay.
All right. So my makeshift box that I designed, and it's been trampled, but
it looks good.
So all these
well
questions,
loved.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So these are AI generated.
Okay.
We switched them because before we used to handwrite them, but now we're like, let's see what AI wants to challenge us with.
Okay.
So usually it works out. So you get to pick.
Oh.
And then
usually it works out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's continue to make sure it still works out.
Okay. Let's see what it says.
Oh, jeez.
I have to unravel
It's a long
it.
question.
It is. What are the challenges and benefits of influencer marketing?
Ooh, influencer
There you
marketing.
go. That's
Okay. Can you read that one more time, please?
Absolutely. What are the challenges and benefits of influencer marketing?
Yeah, so that's, at least for us from the advertising side, let's say, well, we were actually talking about it with, we're not going to name them because we're not going to give them free advertising.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We're not doing that.
Contact
today.
the studios if you need that, right?
If you guys, we're looking for sponsors, so feel free to reach out to us.
Yes.
But it's instant credit. it's how do you bring something to market really quick? Is obviously you want to tie into somebody's network, and obviously if they have a good standing reputation, obviously, or bad depending on what the product is and what you're looking for. But I think that's the very short version of it. But often than not, they're expensive. So then you kind of look for a mid-level, and then what's low level look like. But it's very crucial. It's important. Not every product or service needs an influencer, but some really make it easier for us to say, you know what, this is the direction we go in, especially for this product that Katie and I have been talking about.
New product category. So it's funny, right? I have kind of a love-hate with this whole influencer marketing. And it's pretty new.
I agree.
I think that it can give you instant credibility.
Yeah.
The predate to this were evangelists, right? People who loved your brand, who really were passionate about what you were doing. And I think if you can combine evangelist with influencer, that's where the money really is. Because when you're just paying somebody to provide something for you, that's very transactional, right? And I personally don't want to be a transactional provider. When I can really introduce something and show the value, and that person who is an influencer says, wow, I really love this. I think that's where it really makes sense and where you can do some things. Now, on the surface, we know, and I think when you're looking at a younger audience, I think influencer marketing is really huge. But I do think long term, if you're looking to make that kind of influence and connection, it's got to have a little bit of both.
I'm going to go in two ways. So I'm thinking of it from a personal standpoint, and I'm also thinking of it from a business standpoint. I'll start off with business. So the pro from a business standpoint is it's probably more cost effective. So you don't have to spend so much money to have maybe either the same or a better result. Mm-hmm. From a con standpoint, it is choosing the right influencer, choosing the right person to partner with. You might think, oh yeah, this is a great partnership. And then you're like, no, it's not. This is not what I signed up for.
Right.
And so I think that's the con. So being able to really do your due diligence on who you're attaching your name with, because credibility can be built in one day, but it also can be torn down in 1 second, right? So it's really making sure the alignment. I think from a personal standpoint, thinking from an influencer, it starts off with the why. We've seen so many influencers just make a lot of money, but are not happy or satisfied because they might just be focused on, okay, yes, I'm getting this monetary gain, but at the same time, what is the reason? What's the intention behind it? So I would say pro from an influencer, going back to financial gain, but the negative is also what is private and what's public, being able to have those boundaries, right? And being able to see long-term, what are your goals associated with said brand? So I know, like, for example, Roly and I, we discuss, like, if we are going to have any future brand partnerships, it has to be in alignment with who we are. And if it's not even worth pursuing, right? Or having a conversation with. So being able to have that conversation with yourself from a business standpoint, what are my pros and cons with it? And then from a personal standpoint, as an influencer, just making sure in all that it's authentic and it's also on brand.
Yeah, the two words that come to mind for me are authenticity and integrity. Yes. Is this in alignment with who I want to be in business with? Is this somebody that I feel like it's beyond a transaction? It's really a true alignment.
Well, I mean, and then there's worst case scenario when you have Subway and Jared, how that can go.
Yeah. We have a lot of case studies, but one of those, everyone knows that story, right?
So, I mean, I'm not going to go into details about that, but I mean.
You can look it up.
Yeah. So, but an influencer like situation could be great for Subway, worked many years. And what I liked about the Jared story was Jared authentically and it was created organically.
Yes.
And then Subway just took advantage of the opportunity and turned them into a great influencer that went south because for things that he did that are not good.
Yes.
Not good at all.
Yes.
But that's a good, example. So I guess if you're a decent sized company, you need to prepare that exit plan just in case. But for me, I'm old school, so I really like the organic cultivation of that. And by that, I mean really growing an audience and potentially sampling and tasting. That was part of one of the things that we were trying to set up for this client. And the idea behind that was that we wanted to see how people really gravitate to the product. So
right.
it's a wine. I'm not gonna say what type of wine. And so, it's a new product out there. How are people gonna like it? Do they like it too? Because that's the other part too. Because if we, at the end of the day, if everybody's like, "Oh, this is terrible," like we're not gonna continue working with these people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's gonna reflect on us too.
It was such a great opportunity to build an influential audience out of this, right? Yeah.
Because you never know from those tasting, you can see somebody that's like, oh, okay, like I mean, we find a diamond in the rough in there, and like, hey, this person has a big network. Maybe we can start leveraging their community. And so that's another way agencies look into, cultivating influencers. We get, like let's say a few mid-sized network people that have a decent audience, and then we build from that. Yeah. But they have to be somehow authentically aligned. I think that's key, because if not, it's just pretentious garbage.
Correct. Yeah. And people can feel that.
Yes.
They can see it. It resonates with you when it comes to like, they're just trying to sell and peddle something to me versus have you really used this? 1 week doesn't tell me what's really going on, right? If it's something where you could say, oh, wow, it's in alignment with my brand, but also what is the outreach with said community? So you're selling something, but how does it benefit them as well in the future? And that's why I love the Humanly Plausible brand. Like, we're empowering others, we're sharing, we're putting other people at the forefront just to have a natural dialogue, just to have good conversation, positive conversation, because of course we know throughout the day we have some ups and downs, but to have something that's going to be able to fill your cup, leaving like, oh yeah, that was a great solid conversation. I think we need more of that.
Yeah, so short term, I understand why some people might use a short term game, right? It's brand new, you're going to throw some influencer at it, you've got to have more behind it, but really thinking about it from a long term strategy of partnership and exactly what you said. What does this bring to the community? I think when you think about brands, and people don't always do this, you're building community around a brand. How can you do that? I think good companies build community around their brand, and influencers can be a great lead-in to do that.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, I love the way you're such a great salesperson. She is. She totally plugged Humanly Plausible. I can't even do that.
Right?
Bring it on
for this influencer.
No, we record like 30 episodes and I still can't even like sell it. Maybe that's
why I'm here. There you go.
I love that. But the other thing too is, and I think, as we kind of not conclude, but come to the end of this conversation, like, how saturated is the market with influencers? How much are people buying into that? That's why, that's why I see, like, organically for me, it's I think healthier to grow that way than it is like what you're saying. Like, you just plug somebody in there, and then what you're talking about is like, how believable is that? Are they really into that product? And I feel now with everybody being an influencer, because even my little nieces, well, they're kind of grown, but everybody's an influencer.
Right.
So, I mean, what does that look like this day? Because, I mean, I'm tired of social media and all these people
I
talking.
want to throw a little wrench with what you just said.
Go ahead.
Ooh, a wrench.
But a good wrench.
Oh.
Because AI is here.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're creating fake influencers, fake
That's
models,
right?
Well, or let's just say AI model, right? An AI model or AI influencer. And I will say, to me, I think they're pretty bad right now. Like, you can kind of tell something's off. It's not a real person. But it's going to get better. It's going to get perfected. And so what does that look like, too, for brands that are like, I don't need to hire an actual influencer that's a person. I could just use AI to do this for me. What does that look like? This is my thought process, like positives and negatives. Positives from a business standpoint is it's more cost effective, and you can literally tailor your message exactly how you want to convey it. The negative is the authenticity, the integrity, the trust, ethics, right? What does that look like? And then the other side to it is, as a consumer, like, how do I know what's true, what's not true? you could say this, but is that really like FDA backed or whatever you're pushing? Like whoever is there to regulate said product or service, what does that look like too? So I feel like this is an amazing conversation, but there's like so much more to uncover, just the way that technology is going and the future, right? My son's 6 years old. Like, what does that look like for him in the future?
Yes.
And seeing how marketing is what, $1 trillion probably industry at this point. And marketing is what makes you decide to purchase said product or service. And to me, it can be a little troubling related to the positives of AI. I like AI, but there's certain parts I'm like, we shouldn't pass go on this. If we are passing go and you are AI, there should be some type of disclaimer
Which
or a little thing that says, I am AI, so I know my son who's 6 years old, he knows too. Oh, this is not a real person, but let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk forever about AI, but I would just say the big headline there is ethics, and more ethics. And exactly, the disclaimer. I'm okay with people using it. I'd like something on it that says this was generated with AI, so I can take it with a grain of salt.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And I think organizations, so I think kind of to, like, if we narrow that down to like small businesses, people that are starting out, like, you know, mom and pops or whatnot, I think they really have to take into consideration the damage that it could create. Because for that, like the fact that people might view you, if you're doing a lot of AI driven content, people might not really give you that credit for what you're actually doing. And they might just say, you know what, you're canceled. Like, I'm not even going to look at what you're doing anymore, because they're not buying into it. So those are some of the things that now we're kind of just, and again, I think we're in a new era, like, so everybody kind of steamrolled into AI. So we're still figuring it out. We have no idea what we're doing. That's truly, like, everybody's just going crazy on it. And you know, creating content, videos. You're seeing a lot of production studios using a lot of videos, but even that, everybody can see it. They can notice what an AI.
Yes. Yeah. There's something.
Yeah.
Not the essence of the person. It's not there.
Yeah, even
There's
if you use it just to generate copy, like, you can't just let it. You can't let it just kind of throw in content for you or create content, because people can see it, and they when they read it, they feel it. They're like, oh, this is.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah, you said it though. My son is 6 years old, so I think back, because I'm old enough to remember this, when the internet came out and it was dial-up.
Oh,
and imagine.
I remember that too.
Imagine that your son is 6 years old and it's dial-up. And now your son is 36 years old, and we are where we are. Wow. Imagine that with AI if we don't put some guardrails on it, especially when we think about influencers and content creation.
Absolutely. And it's moving at 10 times that speed. So
exactly.
It's pretty scary. Because, again, like, even when the internet broke out, like, that same thing happened. People were like, oh, print is dead. Nobody's ever going to print anything again.
Yeah.
We're still printing books.
Yes, we are.
But anyways, so final thoughts for what, you know, our question of the day has been, or anything actually in general. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically to the question. What do you guys want to end with on a final thought? Like,
well, I'm going to end by just thanking you guys for the conversation and the community and being part of this great movement. And I think that this is what this is about. We it's a movement we've got going on.
Humanly Plausible.
But thinking about, like, connection and this conversation, it really did something for those endorphins for me today, and that's important stuff.
Nice.
I love that. Final thoughts. This is my first episode that I've recorded.
You're so good too.
I'm an old natural.
You are pro.
Thank you.
Well, you did have that rehearsal that I tanked.
You did. I did. I had a little run through, but I'm just excited to have cool conversations that may not be, I want to say normal, but your day-to-day average conversations, something that makes you think, something that makes you say, oh, and then being able to be with like-minded individuals with their own experiences to say, have you considered, did you think of it this way? So based off the question of the day today, I know that marketing is the lifeline of your business. And so it's super important to market. But I think there's a way to just make sure that it's in alignment with your brand. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Proper planning so that you can have, you know, your business succeed and thrive. So
come on.
Those are my thoughts.
So I'm going to go with influence. I'm going to go, you know, just the idea of how the things that you do, the people that you hire, the way you do work, have a strong influence on on how people perceive your brand. So I think when it comes to your business and what you do and how you do it, you have to be extremely mindful of how you're going to influence that, because everything that you do, people are watching ultimately. So whether you hire Jared or not, like, that's your problem, and you have to own it. So anyways, well, I thank you guys. You guys were awesome.
You.
Season 4.
Woo!